have to talk about what ICE is trying to do in Chicago. I'm not super thrilled about having to talk about body cam footage, but you know that whenever that is the angle that we're having to shoot for, that things are just not in a great spot. Not in a great spot at all, generally speaking. So let's go ahead and see what the hell is going on here. But first, I want to go ahead and talk about the fan art section. We have a piece of fan art here from Sylvie Snow. Said I had previously submitted this digitized version of Tail-chan, so this one right over here. For now, just enjoy both my first ever piece and my first ever digital piece, all because of my obsession with Tails and your community being your community. I mean, you being you. Also, I hid something in the file name. In the file name, huh? Well, let me just... God fucking damn it! Mother... Fuck. Why is it never gonna give you up, never gonna let you, and then I'm not even gonna say that last part. Fuck you. Anyway, thank you for the Tail-chan artwork, because apparently even my tail gets to be a sentient being that hunts me down and tries to harm me. That's just something that's there that I have to deal with all the time now. All the time. That all said, I'm gonna go ahead and say right now, if you guys have not already, hit exclamation mark merch if you are watching on Twitch. And if you do that, then you will be able to see that we do actually have a brand new channel playmat right now that you can pick up at this moment. This was designed by Pernia. And yeah, no, apparently me being attacked by clone versions of myself is just something that I have to deal with on a daily basis. So thank you for all the fan art over the years, because it has led to cursed playmats like this existing now. That all said, let's go over what the hell is going on in Chicago. So this comes to us from Common Dreams. Body cam footage betrays the DHS account of the Chicago Border Patrol shooting. Okay, let's go ahead and read the quote. I think there's a danger to the community, but I don't think that it's Mrs. Martinez, said an attorney for Miramar Martinez, who was shot several times by a Border Patrol agent in Brighton Park, Chicago. Holy fuck. The Guardian talks about this as well, saying that the federal agents taunted her to do something before shooting her. Oh boy, let's take a look at this. An account given in court on Monday by the attorney of a woman who was shot several times by a Border Patrol agent really makes it sound like the agent tried to murder an anti-ICE protester in Chicago, and then the DHS lied to cover for him, said one researcher, referring to the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Department and the Department of Homeland Security, whose agents have descended in the Chicago area in recent weeks and have violently raided homes and assaulted community members there. Man, it's almost like some random person who isn't even from the United fucking States coming into the chat and saying that ICE is not the U.S. Gestapo. Boy, I wish they were. That's so wild. That's so dumb. Only a literal idiot child would actually believe that. But if you want the context for that conversation, that's a whole nother video. And if I'm very lucky, K-Fox may put the thumbnail for that video up here. Anyways, Christopher Parente, an attorney for Miramar Martinez, spoke at a hearing Monday at a federal courthouse 2 days after federal officers accused her of driving towards them in the Brighton Park neighborhood of Chicago. Parente said body cam footage called the account of federal prosecutors and Border Patrol into question, as it showed a Border Patrol agent saying to Martinez, "Do something, bitch," before pulling over and shooting her at least 5 times. What? Okay. Jonathan Kahn says we need a zero-tolerance policy for lying by law enforcement. I agree. Our law enforcement are supposed to be paragons that we are able to trust. What they cannot be is lying pieces of shit. Martinez and another driver, Anthony Ian Santino Ruiz, were charged Sunday with felony assault of a federal officer, with prosecutors saying that they were aggressively driving in a convoy, including several vehicles. The Chicago Sun-Times noted that a statement by DHS after the incident referenced a loaded gun in Martinez's car, which was not mentioned in the charges filed. In court on Monday, the assistant U.S. attorney Sean Hennessy told U.S. District Judge Heather McShane that Martinez had a gun in her car but did not brandish it, while Parente said she had a concealed carry license and a valid firearm. A video captured by a security camera at a nearby tire shop showed Martinez's Nissan Rogue pulling aside a Chevy Tahoe driven by Border Patrol agents, who had just conducted an operation in nearby Oak Lawn. A GMC Envoy driven by Ruiz is seen followed closely behind the authorities' car. The shooting, however, is, of course, not captured on video. Isn't it weird how the body cam footage always magically gets turned off during the areas of just convenience for police officers? Wild, right? Absolutely wild. McShane acknowledged the danger of Martinez and Ruiz's actions, but denied a request by the federal government to detain them pending trial, citing the two U.S. citizens' lack of criminal history and extensive community ties. Martinez works for a school and had several character witnesses write letters to the court on her behalf. Parente then said, "I think there is a danger to the community, but I don't think it's Miss Martinez." Roughly 100 community members responded to the shooting Saturday by holding a protest in the area where federal agents fired pepper balls and tear gas at the demonstrators. This is not me asking for something really fucking funny to happen in the United States, but the more I see this shit going on... The shooting in Brighton Park was one of several recent incidents in which federal agents have violently confronted community members in the Chicago area following President Donald Trump's deployment of immigration officers as part of what he calls Operation Midway Blitz. Over the weekend, Trump announced he was deploying hundreds of members of the National Guard, both from Illinois and other states, to Chicago to support the effort over the objections of rights groups and Democratic Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker. So, of course, even the governor is just like, I don't fucking need these people here. What are you doing? What are you doing? The president and his allies have repeatedly claimed that a federal law enforcement response is necessary in cities including Chicago, Portland, and Washington, D.C., even as statistics have shown that violent crime is actually down in those cities, and as local authorities have denied that protesters against Trump's mass deportation campaigns are causing havoc. You know how you make protesters cause havoc? Oh, just a wild thing. You know how you make protesters cause more havoc? You put a bunch of people with a track record for escalating violence far higher than what they need to do, and you make them go against the protesters. That's how you make protesters cause more havoc. I am thoroughly convinced that the President of the United States sends in troops into places that have lots of protesters so that he can incite incidents that will then justify him sending in more troops to strong-arm areas further, and then instead of looking back at what actually caused these problems in the first place, he's just going to show footage of the violence that was provoked by his fucking cronies. That's what I believe he is trying to do in general. Now, that may be a little tinfoil hatty, but it's also perfectly in his playbook. The president and his allies have repeatedly claimed that a federal law enforcement response is necessary in cities including Chicago, Portland, etc. On Monday, officials in Chicago and Illinois sued the Trump administration over its invasion of the city, and a group of protesters and journalists filed a separate suit arguing that federal agents have shot, gassed, and detained individuals for exercising their First Amendment rights. Jesus Christ. Officers say the woman was in a chase ending in a ramming of a Border Patrol vehicle during Trump's immigration crackdown, but of course, they literally were telling her to do something, bitch. These are not people trained in de-escalation. These are people who actively try to escalate things. My God, this whole thing, this whole deployment of Trump to multiple cities in a desperate effort to create more incidents where he can justify strong-arming more cities is wild to me. This is why it's a very good idea to use 5 calls and bug the ever-loving crap out of your congressman and out of your local politicians, because by being in very, very constant communication with them, we can start putting more pressure from the bottom up on the president. Because right now, he's able to enact a whole lot of pressure from the top down. We need to be setting up more things with the DSA. We need to be having more people elected through the DSA. And we need to be establishing more political power on the ground level. That way we have an umbrella for the citizens directly under those ground level politicians. That's what we need to be doing. And that only happens if several of you get involved. And you can get involved, again, by using 5 calls to bug your politicians. And of course, by going to your local DSA if you have the time and the spoons and the wherewithal. I wish that I had the time or the spoons or the wherewithal. But I do have the ability to signal boost the DSA myself. So that is something well within my power. Anyway, that all said, that's it for this one. See you guys in the next one. Hey, thanks for making it to the end of the video. I really could not do any of this without all of you. Those of you watching, and especially those of you who support me on Patreon. I wanted to go ahead and take a minute to thank all of you who do that, because with YouTube being what it is these days, I really cannot do this full time without the support from each and every one of you. Those people would be Red Joker, Purple Poundini, Jemshin, Britzkrieg, Jupe the Malignant, Michael, Ravalern, Mabbity Babbity, Astral Frontier, Tales of Atonement, Nixie-chan, Kiri Artemis, Limor Pinku, Love Bunny Games, Victorian Alchemist, I'm not saying the last part of that, and you know that, Aurora, Leela Ururaka, Arcton Arclacier, Kiratorian, Dren Hadamata, Jordan M, John L, Lord Bleck, Smiling Game Master, and Fireshard. Thank you so very much. But since you're here, why not go ahead and try watching another one? There should be one that's on the screen right now. And if you are a patron of mine, I wanted to go ahead and thank you again for all of your support. There is still a video you could press though, if you'd like. I would appreciate it. Just a little bit.